Israel has had almost every bad thing that can be said about it said. They are called racist, colonialist, colonizers, fascist, the new Nazis, you name it. They have been accused of wanton murder and ethnic cleansing, apartheid, etc. Even so, the word genocide has rarely been hurled at Israel in the past. Only the fringe margins would call Israel's past actions genocide. The reason is that it is utterly ridiculous. The Arab population in the region has increased dramatically over the last 100 years. Far from annihilating the Arabs, Israel has developed the land to the point that it can support a massive increase in population. However, recently not only have Palestine supporters used the word genocide frequently, they have made it nearly ubiquitous. Why? By no possible truthful definition can Israel be accused of perpetuating a genocide against the Palestinians. The only reason someone would falsely accuse Israel of genocide is to justify genocide against the Israelis. On October 7th, Israel's southern defenses were rendered useless. Their massive security structure collapsed for nearly 12 hours before the area was resecured by the IDF. With the state apparatus non-functional, thousands of Israelis were left to the mercy of invading Palestinians from Gaza. The world would soon learn that mercy was something the people of Gaza lacked. Unfortunately, sadism and bloodlust were in ample supply. With thousands of Gazans behaving like the reavers from Firefly and the largest mass murder of Jews in a single day since the Shoah, it became undeniable that the intentions of Hamas specifically, and the Palestinians more generally, is genocide against the Jews of Israel. The events of this day were so horrific in terms of the atrocities committed, and the genocidal intent demonstrated that the supporters of the Palestinian cause simply had no choice but to accuse Israel of something worse in order to justify their continued support. In order to downplay and justify this, they are falsely accusing Israel's counteroffensive of being a genocide. By using the word genocide to describe a military operation that seeks to avoid killing non-combatants while necessarily destroying an organization as evil as the Nazis that seeks to murder every last Jewish man, woman, and child in the region, they can devalue the meaning of the word genocide. This will make the idea of committing a real genocide far more palatable to large numbers of people. Furthermore, this redefinition helps to reinforce the moral standard that Palestinians can engage in the most horrific violence and slaughter imaginable. And it's not as bad as when Israel launches a defensive military operation that attempts to adhere to the laws of war. They are also conflating violence done to stop mass murder and violence done to perpetuate mass murder. Israel's goal is to defeat an enemy obsessed with death and destruction. As a Marxist, they see death and destruction as useful tools to instigate their utopian revolution. By conflating the deliberate targeting of civilians by a genocidal terrorist organization with the inadvertent deaths caused by the actions of a flawed but moral army, they are trying to demoralize people from standing against the forces of terror, destruction, and evil. Make no mistake, every single person who accuses Israel of genocide is projecting, and they would support a genocide committed against Israelis. Yes, Melissa Barrera, Billie Eilish, Mark Ruffalo, and everyone else accusing Israel of genocide is signaling their willingness to support a genocide conducted against the Jews of Israel. Now, I might hear you say, many of these people don't really understand the full implications of what they're saying. Many of these celebutards can't even find Israel or Gaza on a blank map. My response is, do you think people have never supported genocides out of ignorance? Do you think people only support genocide when they have a deep understanding of the target group's history and culture? To even ask these questions is to answer them. Most genocides have been supported by individuals who ignorantly hopping on a bandwagon. This is true among the full spectrum of support, from the passive silent consent of those turning a blind eye, to the support of people shouting slogans of hate, but otherwise taking no active part, to those facilitating the genocide with logistical aid, but not inflicting violence themselves, all the way to those actively killing. Historically, many genocides have only been loosely organized by a small cabal of knowledgeable leaders, with the vast majority of the actual killing being done by masses of willfully ignorant followers. I want to re-emphasize this point. The vast majority of those calling for a cease in Israeli operations would support, to one degree or another, the genocide of the world's largest Jewish community. They were silent on October 7th, and they would be silent as the 7 million Jews of Israel are massacred. Furthermore, they will be silent or supportive as Jews in America are harassed, attacked, and even massacred en masse. There are exceptions, a few mindless pro-Hamas droids who would wake up as Jews in their cities and towns are targeted, but these individuals are statistically negligible. This is a depressing reality, but it is one that American Jews must come to terms with. Pleading for empathy and appealing for mercy from the NPCs and their mindless figureheads won't work. They are not supporting Hamas out of compassion for the Arab civilians in Gaza, and they are not going to see the error of their ways, no matter how many liberal American Jews get hate-crimed. The celebrities, the cosplaying revolutionaries, and the people who literally can't find Israel on a map will do as they are programmed by the media, their social media, and their professors to do, and if the Jewish population of Israel is annihilated, they will move on to the next shiny object. They will not feel any guilt or remorse because they simply won't think about it. That's the reality. So what should we do? First, it must be understood that anyone who accuses Israel of genocide is lying. They are deliberately lying about genocide. They must not be given any kind of the benefit of the doubt. They must be called out for being liars. You must also make clear that you know why they are lying, to show support for one of the most evil organizations on earth. Secondly, you must project an aura of strength. Do not show any doubt in the righteousness of your position. The fact that they have to literally lie about genocide to justify their position is proof of the moral bankruptcy of their position. You have the moral high ground, and you need to make clear that you know it. It can be disheartening to see so many people being hoodwinked into standing on the side of evil, but the quality of those standing with good is so much higher. Don't give up hope. Believe that truth will win out in the end.